It's a blessing to welcome on one of the fastest rising guys in 2022, a top 60 guard and small forward in the country, Justin Taylor. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Well, this has been a wild summer. We talked last before coaches start being able to call you, and you had some offers. Your name was starting to be tossed around some, but now you're pretty much ranked from almost all sides. People are starting to know you, offers from everywhere. What's it feel like to be at the position you're at right now?
Yeah. It's definitely a blessing. I'm definitely grateful for, getting the recognition and all the things like that. But I still got 2 years of high school left. So I got a lot of time to, continue to prove who I am, and because I still got to prove a lot of people. I'm still not ranked in ESPN or different things like that. So I definitely have a lot more things that I want to get done while I'm in high school and everything like that. But as of right now, it's definitely blessing to be where I'm at.
And you are a guy because there was an AAU season. So many guys, these guys are kind of rising. People see what they did in high school, but maybe people don't know who you are, what you bring to a game. Kind of explain your game a little bit.
Yeah, I say, I'm probably best known just for my shooting ability, but I say I'm a versatile scorer. I can play and guard probably the 1 through 4. I can score on all 3 levels. I can get to the basket using the threat of my shot to get past people. So pump fakes and stuff like that. And I think I have a really good pull up game. Mid range. If I have a smaller guard on me, I can go into the mid post and use my size pretty effectively. And then, like I said, I think I can guard on defense the 1 through 4. So I think that aspect kind of helps me too.
I read somewhere that you are known as a shooter. We all know that you're one of the best in the country, but you do feel disrespected by just being called a shooter because you just mentioned you have a defensive knack to you. You also can go and score different all three levels on the court. When you talk about that, why do you feel disrespected about only being called a shooter at times?
Yeah, I think there's just so much more I can add to the game than just shooting a three. I think that's probably my best attribute for sure. But I think being labeled as just that kind of guy who would just stand in the corner and shoot threes is definitely not my type of game. So I think um, I feel like early on that's probably what I was, but I think just the work I've put in is um, uh, just trying to prove people that that's not true.
Guys like you are being critical at all levels, but we look at the NBA. Probably the highest example is a guy like Klay Thompson, probably the best to do it. But this guy like Joe Harris, we just see got paid for doing shooting, be able to drive, be able to defend. Danny Green. The list kind of goes on to those kind of guys. Who are the players you kind of look to though? Who's some guys you like watching to kind of take pieces from and put them in your game?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely watch Clay and Joe, like you said, just because I like being able to see how they move so well without the ball and getting into their spots and not using the dribble effectively. And then some other guys that I watch a lot are guys like Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. And then also I've heard comparisons like Tyler Hero. But, I watch a lot of different guys, watch a lot of different films. So obviously, I like being able to watch guys who I could envision myself, like you said, like or Clay or Joe and everything like that. Just guys who can really shoot it and do different things on the court. But yeah.
I believe you've now grown even a little bit more. You're at the 6'6" range, maybe even a little bit over that. How have you started to use this height now?
Yeah, it helps me a ton just getting my shot off. And using that, like I said, I have a smaller guard on me. I can, go to the mid post and use my strength and back him down. And just being able to shoot over a lot of guys. Because early on I couldn't really do that, but now with my wingspan and just height, now I think it's a lot easier to be able to get my shot off.
Now, some college will land you eventually, and you already have a ton of offers on the board. But with that kind of play style, every coach wants that, so more will keep coming in. But at this point in time, who's really talking to you the most? Who's showing you the most interest?
Yeah, so I'd say there's a good amount of schools, but as far as who've offered me, they're doing the best job would probably be Indiana, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, Georgetown's doing a good job. And then, even though they haven't offered, I've also heard a lot from UNC, Virginia, and Michigan.
Let's go into some of these schools a little bit. Indiana is one that is a big time program. We know that's kind of one of the basketball blue bloods. They've been there for a long time, dominant program. What do you like about them?
Yeah, so I've grown a really good relationship with Coach Hunter, who came from UConn, as well as Coach Archie Miller. And then just they talk about how important their 2022 class is going to be for them to try and just bring their program back to what it's known as being, and just try and I don't know, just use me as kind of the start of that. And they always talk about how I can change the program back to what it is.
Oftentimes, we know it takes more than just one guy to build a whole great team, and you have connections. A lot of guys I know you're talking to, you have relationships with. Who are
Mhm.
some guys in 2022 that you would not mind teaming up with, or you think you play really well with that you guys have maybe discussed teaming up at the college level with?
Yeah. Honestly, not too many 2022 guys, mainly like 21, but also I've talked to some guys I used to play with. Donald Hand Jr., I played with him for Team Loaded. Malik Brown, who goes to Blue Ridge, who also played for Team Loaded. And then some of my takeover guys like Doug McDaniel. We're gonna play together next year for summer. So I think guys like that. But I don't. Yeah, I know. I watched Angelo's interview talking about how he wanted me to go to Villanova with him. So I don't know. I definitely talked to a lot of guys. I think it would be fun to play with all those guys in college, but I'm not sure at this point. Yeah.
And there was a battle. You've had some AU games or fall leagues that we've seen some guys playing out there, and Virginia has had a couple of different guys that are in that mix for best player in your state. Tyler
Mhm.
Nichols, one guy in there, Jaden
Mhm.
Epps, another guy. And obviously, there's some debate who is the best player out there. When you look
Yeah.
at that, where do you rank yourself in your state?
I think I'm the best player in the state in my class, no doubt, really. I think I was kind of able to prove that in these fall leagues because I think a lot of people were high on these other guys and didn't really look at me as one of those top guys. But I think I proved that in this fall league, and hopefully we have a season so I can prove it even more. But just I think the way I can score the ball and defend now, I think there's no really debate that I think I'm the best player in the state.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, though, I mean, we just look at that state. It is loaded to have three guys that could be all considered top 50, if not higher ranked players battling each other. What's it like just being in that environment?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Virginia has some of the best talent in all a lot of different classes, not just 22. 23 is also really talented, and obviously 21. So I think just being able to go against those guys consistently is definitely a huge advantage. Just preparing for college and beyond, because there's a lot of guys who can play really well, and like you said, can be ranked in the top 100 in Virginia.
I want to get into Syracuse as well because they're a program that had a lot of attention early on. Dior Johnson, a top five player, commits out there. A lot of momentum's going there. Now we know he decommits. Roddy Gale is another guy that's targeted there going to Ohio State. Kind of opens up a lot more space now for the shooting guard spot. Where do you stand for Syracuse right now?
Yeah, I really like him. I think I've gotten a really good relationship with Coach GMAC, and then also Coach Boeheim. And they always, I mean, they kind of talk about how well I just fit perfectly into their system because they love guys who can shoot it and just score the ball, and then guys who are long on defense for that 2-3 zone. So they always help. That always helps them. And then they've kind of compared me to a lot of their previous players who have had future success in the NBA and everything like that. Guys like Elijah Hughes who just got drafted, or Malachi Richardson. So the program kind of speaks for itself. I think they've been really successful. But yeah.
Seeing a guy like Dior Johnson's a huge player, it'd be kind of cool to play with him potentially, but he does kind of run that guard position that you run around. Does it make it more appealing that there's another opportunity now available for you?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really sure. I never really talked to him or anything like that. And then they told me that he was decommitting, and just that they saw it as kind of they saw it as a kind of a positive just because they could now recruit guys that they really saw that could play together and impact their program in the right way. So that includes me and then some other guys that they've been looking at in the point guard position and the center position. So I think they're just trying to recruit guys that can fit right into the program.
I'm sure when you got the first call, I first started talking to them, it was probably a little overwhelming. It was probably pretty cool thinking that you're talking to one of the greatest coaches ever. What went through your mind when you first got that call from Coach Boeheim?
Yeah, it was kind of yeah, like you said, it was overwhelming. But I was with my mom. It was my mom and me on the call with him. And it was just it was really cool just being able to talk to him. Like you said, one of the most winningest coaches, and you can just tell his basketball knowledge right off the bat on the phone call. And then I think he'd be a lot of fun to play for. He lets his guys play and be themselves on the court. So that was definitely appealing. But yeah, it's definitely been cool growing that relationship with him, knowing just all the accolades and accomplishments he's had.
It's now been, I believe, 4, maybe 5 months since coaches start calling you, and you're getting used to these Zoom calls now. You're talking to them quite consistently, I can imagine. When did it start settling in, though? I can imagine the first few of those were kind of crazy, seeing these different coaches that you already dreamed of seeing and talking to. When did it first start settling in for you, knowing that this is just your typical life now?
Yeah. It's definitely different doing all these Zoom calls rather than, I'd probably be going down there actually and seeing him in person. But it's kind of been like the new normal of just doing these Zoom calls. It's been different, but it's been kind of, it's been definitely a blessing being able to actually kind of see them in person and talking to them. But yeah, like you said, it's definitely cool because I've been dreaming about this for a while. So actually being able to have it be the president is definitely a blessing.
And you mentioned your mom being in the Zoom call with you, and she had gone through this experience before little bit ago back in her college recruitment process. She played at the Division I level at
Yeah.
James Madison. How has both her and also your sister playing at William and Mary? How have they kind of helped you now throughout your basketball career now, especially in the recruiting process?
Yeah, I'll start with my sister, but just because I always used to, go to her tournaments when I was younger, go to her practices, and just see how hard she worked to get to that level. So it kind of just motivated me, and I was able to see how hard you have to work to get to that level. And then my mom, she definitely has that competitive spirit that kind of got in me now. But yeah, just knowing her basketball knowledge and my sisters has definitely helped me because I'm able to talk to them about the recruiting process, which is definitely nice. Just not having me having to make all the decisions, but also being able to talk to them about it. It helped.
I can imagine you and your sister grew up playing one-on-one together. Has that point come yet, and when did that point happen, if it did, that you started beating her?
Early on when I was younger, she would definitely beat me just because when I was so small. But then I guess like when middle school hit, like seventh, eighth grade, and then obviously, obviously now, I don't think there's any competition. She might say otherwise, but yeah, I don't think there's any competition anymore.
Absolutely. Well, a couple more skills I want to touch up on. One is Georgetown. Coach Ewing is an all-time great NBA player, Hall of Famer, and just having him potentially as your coach, what would it be like having him and being able to learn from him?
Yeah, like a lot of different coaches, his kind of resume speaks for itself. Like you said, a Hall of Famer. Obviously knows the game super well. Has a lot of basketball knowledge. And I think he'd definitely be a player coach just because he played the game. So he knows what you're thinking out there on the court. And lets you just be yourself. And that's kind of appealing. And then yeah, I think I've also gotten a really good relationship with Coach Crouch who's yeah, but yeah, it's definitely appealing just knowing that he was a player also and playing in the NBA and all of his success. But, yeah.
This seems to be an appealing thing for all guys, and you're looking at these coaches. There's more and more of them. Rich Harder's at Memphis, Coach Stackhouse out there in Vanderbilt, and this list does go on for a long time. But just seeing all these coaches pop up that have played at the NBA, or even guys like Coach Hoiberg has played and coached in the NBA, what do you like about that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely appealing seeing that just because you get a guy that has been in your shoes and knows what the process is like. It's been where you want to be at, playing the NBA. So that's definitely appealing just because you're able to learn from them and they know exactly what the process is like. So yeah.
And you also did mention one of the biggest blue bloods out there, UNC, talking to
Mhm.
you quite a bit. Do you think that offer could come in sometime soon? How close are you guys? Kind of break down that relationship.
Yeah. So I think they're one of those schools that definitely likes to probably take their time, build a relationship first before they just throw out offers. So I've been talking a lot to Coach Robinson. I've got a really good relationship with him because he's actually from Charlottesville, around the Charlottesville area. So we have that connection, and I think they just want to see me play a little bit first, more. Maybe see me play in person if that ever happens. And just I think once that happens, once they're able to see me play a little bit more and get a better feel for my game, I think, the offer will come. But just I think they want to take their time, which I definitely respect. Just their pro game kind of speaks for itself. So I think, yeah.
Kind of describe your dream coach. We've discussed two guys that are two of the winningest all-time coaches, Coach Roy Williams, Coach Boeheim, a player's coach like Coach Ewing, the younger coaches out there. Kind of describe what's the characteristics of a coach you would want to have.
Yeah, I'd say not just a coach that just coached me on the basketball floor, but a coach that I'm able to have a relationship with off the court, and in the future, after I leave their program, a coach that I could connect with, and that obviously has a ton of basketball knowledge and that understands his players, and is a player coach that just lets you be yourself on the court, and it's a coach that's going to push me to be the best version of myself, I'd say.
Final score I want to touch up on Virginia Tech, and there are programs up on the rise. They're always hanging in there as a solid program. They get quite a few guys at the NBA. What do you overall like about that program, and where do you stand with them?
Yeah, so I saw what Coach Young did, with Wofford and how well he did there with guys who can shoot the ball. And then also Coach Giltner, who's an assistant who played at Wofford. So just seeing what he brought from Wofford to Virginia Tech, I think definitely appeals to me just because they're going to do so well with guys who can shoot the ball and score the ball. He's definitely Coach Young is definitely a guy that would be fun to play for. And he's definitely a player's coach, and that I think just the program and playing style that he's brought to Virginia Tech is nice.
And this has been a little bit of a process for you now. It's been your freshman year was a solid year for you, but you still didn't get much attention. And then last year really was your breakout season. You got an article from Evan Daniels in December that really started getting the recruiting going for you. And you averaged 15 points a game last year, 5 rebounds, almost 3 assists,
Yeah.
29 records for your team. Take us through the last year.
Yeah. I think so. We went to the Sleepy Thompson tournament, which was honestly like that's when I started getting the recognition I did. Like you said, from Evan Daniels. I think after that, it kind of blew up from there. Just getting that recognition from 247 and rivals definitely helped me just kind of get that recognition. And honestly, from there, it kind of like I said, like it kind of started to blow up after that. I think we had a very successful season. I think there was some up and downs, but I think this season we're going to be really good if we have a season. Just we have a good core group of guys that I think can be really special in these next 2 years.
When would you say it clicked for you? When did you realize you're going to be a big time player, top guy in your class? Was it last year? Was it
Mhm.
freshman year? Like, when did that kind of click for you?
Well, I kind of always knew that I had the ability, like starting my freshman year. I think my coach and trainer instilled a lot of confidence in me just to go out there and believe I'm the best player in the court and play like that. So I'd say, but last year was when I started realizing that I started like getting that recognition and everything with the rankings and articles and everything like that was when it really started to pick up.
Typically behind your name, a lot of people have always said you're not that athletic, and I have heard some things, seen some things that you have got a lot more athletic the past few months. Where does that stand, and how do you plan to use your athleticism now in the upcoming season?
Yeah, I'd say during quarantine, during COVID, that was definitely a big emphasis for my improvement was getting, more athletic, more agile, and just working on my movement. So I think now that I've kind of been able to show that in these fall leagues, just obviously the dunks stick out, but I think just like little things like my lateral quickness on defense, being able to stay in front of guys, having that quick first step, to beat a guy off the dribble, has definitely helped me just expand my game more.
We discussed it earlier, the guys like Joe Harris, Clay Thompson, even Booker. These guys are not the most athletic guys in the world in the league or whatever, but they still
Yeah.
get the job done. They're some of the best players in the NBA. How have you learned not to be the most athletic guy in the court all the time and still produce at where you produce?
Yeah. Just trying to be smart with your footwork is definitely huge that I've learned. And being smart with your decision making. And also, um, I think well now I'm definitely gotten more athletic going to the rim and everything like that, but also being able to use that to my advantage, pump fakes at the rim or different stuff like that has definitely helped me, and just being smart with the ball.
Now, COVID stopped a lot of things all over the country, but for you, you have had some opportunities to get back on the court to a degree. One of which is the Ruined Top 150 camp. What was that camp like?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun playing against some of the top guys in the nation. I think I was able to go there and see that, because I before I just kind of played against guys from, top guys from Virginia, or not, no, not all over. So I think going there allowed me to see that, I can play with those guys, and I'm just as good as, those top guys up in the rankings and everything like that. So I think it was good going there and playing against a lot of those top guys.
You've also been a part of the CVG Fall League, getting some reps in with your team, getting some scrimmages, games kind of stuff in. How have
Mhm.
those been?
Yeah, they've been great. I think um, if we do have a season, it's gonna be really special. I've seen just how well we play together in these fall leagues, with me, and then our two sophomores, John St. Germain, who's our point guard, and then Carter Lang, who's our big. I think us three kind of are the core of the team, and then we have a lot of guys around us who can really shoot the ball and just are good role players who they're definitely gonna help us. I think with that depth, I think it's going to help us in the long run. Just not having, one guy who is going to have to go out there and score, 30 or 40. I think we have a lot of guys who can score the ball. I think it's going to be good for us just having multiple guys who can get 15 to 20, or however many it takes. But yeah.
Now, you are a known player. We've talked about all your offers, and I can imagine some of these bigger prep schools and national schedule schools started reaching out to you. Has it been anything you weighed? Have you started considering one of those for this upcoming year or even for senior year?
Yeah. So during the summer, it was definitely I started thinking about it just a little bit because of COVID. I didn't know if we were gonna have a season. I still don't really, but just because that definitely appealed a little bit. Just because COVID, we didn't know if we have a season. So I'm not gonna leave now because I like the core we have at Stab. I've been the coach. I've been with the coach and trainer for 5+ years now. So I think I want to stay loyal to them, and um, if we do have a season, I think it'll be really special.
Now, it was canceled because of COVID, but there is one thing that I think all high schoolers dream of having and achieving, maybe in more than McDonald's All-American and stuff, and that's being a part of Team USA, representing your country, and you had the camp invite. To get that letter, to be able to know that you were going to be a part of Team USA, or at least go to the camp, what was that experience like?
Yeah, I was definitely it was definitely a blessing. It was actually my takeover coach who came to one of my games, and after the game, he told me that I was gonna be getting a letter, and I was honestly speechless. Just because, like you said, I was super excited to have the opportunity to try and play for my country, and go to the training camp and compete with all those guys. It was definitely frustrating not being able to go, but I'm hoping soon, maybe next summer, we're going to be able to get down there and compete.
Absolutely. Now, you were going to run a team takeover if all this went down and you had an AAU season, because we're going to have a special roster, a lot of big time players on that team. Why did you choose them?
Honestly, just I thought it would be the best for me, as far as exposure, getting the best competition I can, and just I think in the long run they were gonna help me get to the position I wanted to be, both college and playing in the NBA. So I think it just their program speaks for itself. How many guys they've put into the college program and beyond. So I got in a really good relationship with all those coaches, and now it's just like it's family now. Going down there for workouts and practices. I think it was just the best decision for me making that move.
Now, I have to ask about something in your Instagram bio, Busy Way. What does that mean?
Um, so it's something that me and a couple of my friends started. It just means be easy. Um, yeah, so it's just something dumb we created, but we think it's fun to put in our bios. So it's just a couple of us, and it's just kind of our motto. It's just to be easy.
Absolutely. Well, a few more things before I let you go. One of which I know all guys want to create a legacy for themselves. So when you are done playing basketball someday, what do you ultimately want to be remembered for? What do you want to be known for what you achieve both on and off the court?
Yeah, I want to be known as a guy that didn't just let basketball define him. Obviously I want to have great success on the court, but I want to be, a leader off the court, and use my voice to impact others and, lift others up. So I think I want to be known as one of those guys who impacted, the game and impacted others to be the best version of themselves and just inspire the younger generation once I get older.
I know some guys have a gear towards them that they really want to focus in on one area of life, whether it be going back home and helping the community out, if it's adoption, if it's different stuff like that, racial inequalities. Is there a certain kind of avenue that you personally have on your heart that you want to help down the road?
Well, I think once the ball does stop bouncing, I think I want to definitely do something. Maybe be a trainer or a coach. I think that's kind of appealing. Just still being around the game of basketball and helping the youth out. Once I do get older, I think would definitely be appealing. But yeah, I think like you said, racial inequality. I think is definitely important to use your voice and speak about. So I think that is definitely something I want to do once I do get older. Just using my voice to spread positivity and preach equality.
Absolutely, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, and I can't wait to see what God you got next for you, man. Of
All right, yeah, thank you for having me.
course, y'all's welcome on, man. God bless.
All right.